We would like to start out with letting you know that there's one proposal we would like to pull from the table.
Okay.
That's Article 12, Item G, in reference to the entrance exams. That's what page Article 12, I think is,
12G?
I have 12, Item G.
Let's see.
Personnel practices is the
Under
article.
entrance administrations or examinations?
Yes.
Yes.
On page 62 of the motion.
So you're withdrawing that?
Yes. Okay.
Give me just a second.
Okay, no problem.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Let me know when I can proceed.
Yeah, I mean, just.
Okay, no problem.
You're okay?
Okay. As mentioned during the close of the last meeting, we really, the city team really would like to see if we can finalize the non-economic issues today. Therefore, it allowing us enough time to deal with the economic issues. So that's our goal today, and hopefully you agree. We would like to also begin by addressing what we believe are some tentative agreements. So the first one, these are, since it's a tentative, we would like to show it. Let's take a look at it.
That's.
Article 7P is
So this is the language I gave you, put it in order. If you'll look on that, I've given you this little check sheet. Y'all didn't get this? I sent you
Probably.
economic and non-economic. I'm just
Yes.
saying, I know. but
Yep,
you got it on
we got
here.
everything you sent.
Yeah. Here, you're withdrawing your proposal and accepting our proposal?
Yes. Sometimes we really do agree.
I'm not gonna say I'm shocked.
Well, thank you.
That's Article 7, subsection P.
And Ben, it's in the proper order. He just hit the ranks weren't in order. And
Oh, okay.
my
That's
man
true.
attention to detail over here said, just put them in order.
It's identical to this, correct?
Yeah.
The next item. We are accepting your proposal on this one also. Article 7, item U.
Said you, Margie?
U,
7U.
yes.
Question on that language of the permanent civil service file.
Yes, we'll go ahead and raise that,
Do we need
Greg.
to change that to a personnel file? Last time we spoke about just the
Yeah.
language, just the wording of the permanent civil service file.
Right.
And just for clarification, Commander, you said that that was the personnel record, or personnel file.
So are we gonna make reference to that?
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
sure.
After looking at it with HR, there really is a difference between what PD keeps at their department and what HR keeps. And HR, for all purposes, does keep a permanent civil service file in compliance with 143. So I'm not sure we should necessarily change it versus having HR change what they're calling it to match up with 143. That's sort of where I've been going with HR on that. They call it the personnel file because they just call it that for all employees, but really it's the officer's civil service file.
Okay.
So we need
We all
to.
understand
That's a
that it
change I
is
have to make with HR.
Same difference.
Yes.
So that way, we're gonna keep the language as it's
Permanent
stated
civil
there.
service.
That'll
So we
work.
need to make sure that HR.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what I'm calling it.
Okay, good deal.
It's good to know after 25 years that it's,
Yeah.
there's a real name to it.
Okay, the next one is Article 11, items 5 and 6. It's two separate groups here.
Just separate, those two different, same language.
Is this our original language?
This one? Yeah, let me go.
5 and 6?
Yeah, let me go over there in a second.
I.
That was ours. And then we had all that doctors and everything, we just put
Right.
licensed medical
Right.
physicians to the doctor, and they took out the therapist and the chiropractor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Article 12, it's Article 12, not, I mean, it's Article 11.
Right. But remind me about it, because I've had a discussion about that on something else, and
Okay.
so we'll need some interpretation.
Here's your 5 and 6.
Okay, so this
Okay, the next one is Article 11, which is leave, item H.
Now, we withdrew
Yes.
ours, and then the strikeout was yours. Or was it ours?
It was on both.
It was on both of them.
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, the concern was the calendar year as opposed to the fiscal year for tracking.
Does it make any difference if it's struck out?
Let me read it. No, this is just a notification part. Yeah.
They're not even following.
something in there that says about the calendar year? In other words, you burn your time during the calendar year to get credit to sell it. Remember where we had the issue where they changed the fiscal year from August to October, therefore forces everyone to go burn 40 hours before Christmas in a shorter window of time. But if we retro it back to the calendar year, it's easier for them to burn it. And that's what we had originally.
Never proposed it.
We did.
Can't carry between two.
Absolutely. Okay, you guys have a concern.
Well, when we first brought this forward, Margie, we're changing it from August to October with the fiscal year change, which is not necessarily a problem. The
Right.
problem is you have to burn your 40 hours before you can sell any vacation. Right, and so now it forces everyone, starting October 1st, to start taking time off, which puts a burden on the department, because people are trying to burn time off to do a buyback before Christmas. And so we'd asked about using calendar date to show that you burned vacation
Okay.
as opposed to the fiscal. That way it takes relief off the department and off the officers at the same time, not trying to rush to burn that time real quick.
Right.
So we need to try to lay some framework out to encompass the calendar aspect, just to show that you've used the time, not for the expenditure,
Right.
but for the use of the time.
And I know that calendar could be a challenge because we operate under fiscal, but we'll need to talk through that one
Okay.
again. I remember the conversation
right.
early on regarding it. Okay, if
So-
that's the issue, why don't you give them back to us?
Okay, and then when we caucus, we can try to figure something out and
Okay.
go between ourselves from there. How's
Right,
that?
right.
Okay.
I know Mary tracks that very well, and I can call her today and say, how much time have I used this year? And within a minute, she'll tell me, you've used X amount of hours this year. And so I guess it's just a tracking issue on your side. We need to change that one word from fiscal to calendar, and I think it resolves our issue if it is suitable to y'all.
And I'll need to talk to payroll to see, they may keep this calendar as well as fiscal, but we need to talk through it.
Okay.
So that's Article 11.
Like that right there.
Okay, so we hold. Okay, I'm gonna give this
Tracking
back to you,
time.
okay?
See what I'm saying?
Okay, what else do you have?
So if I've used the time since then,
Yeah.
Which one?
No, well, August 1st of each year, you know.
yes.
Maybe we just keep this in there, August, effective August 1 of each year. You can't burn it till October, you can't sell it till October, but you start burning starting August. You see what I'm saying?
Hold on, I'll probably have it.
Yeah, we should have taken out the 1999.
Yeah.
I have article, is that article 12?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? I have E. Why am I saying article 12? I can say it should be up there.
Hold, you give us 1 second, okay?
Okay.
Oh, no, that's right. I don't understand why I don't have that. I remember writing it down.
But it is Article 12. Okay, let's do it now.
Let me ask you a question on this section,
Which section?
H.
The one that we,
Article 11?
Yeah.
okay, oh, we're back
We
to.
normally would have taken out the 1999. We don't leave in old dates.
Okay,
It's okay, Scott said they have effective August the 1st of each year. Go ahead and explain why that would work.
So here's my thought. Our officers are used to doing August. So if we just take out the 1999 and do effective August 1st, and they start burning time, vacation point, at that point, to accrue up towards the fiscal year, it would remain similar to the way it is right now, and it would give the officers the ability to start burning time that counts towards the
Between August
buyback.
and December.
Exactly, so it remains similar to the way it is right now, but it alleviates the fiscal year change at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it would be August 1st of each year, each employee may elect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And they'll have that window instead of
Gives
them
October
2 extra
to
month window.
December.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So then
Would-
we just need to figure out,
Well, I need to talk
Because of
to payroll.
because of the October 1st budget,
Yeah.
paying out of that budget for what you earned, what you took in your previous. We just need to clear that up.
Mhm.
So we'll have to have a conversation with
Okay.
them to make
But
sure.
that's what they're-
Because it's you're taking money, you're
Right.
taking time. You're cashing in time that you earned in the previous fiscal year, and
Fiscal,
you're
right.
cashing
You're
it in
gonna
a
cash
new
it.
one. And we gotta make
And
sure
Margie,
that's
if you,
possible.
I don't know if y'all have a
Not sure.
printer, but if you don't, and you draft something up and you just
Mhm.
wanna email it to me as a TA, just email it to me, I'll print it out and we'll have the copies right here.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. So we'll have that conversation.
All right. Let me ask you this.
I'll let you know later.
I put in all of the, on my end, the cleanup to make some consistency to numbers,
Yes.
and you took that out. If you don't wanna do that, I'll go back to the whole thing and take them all out.
When you say numbers.
Like, if we got so many inconsistencies, you'll have a 2, and then you'll have a TWO,
Oh,
and then
okay.
you'll have spelled out 133, and then you'll
Yeah.
don't spell it out.
Okay, and you went through.
I did
and
the
you-
whole contract, it's all in blue.
Okay, right.
If you took it out of this one, so if you're gonna not do it, then I'd rather take it all out, because it's gonna mess me up later when I go and look at it, and your sign deals, you didn't put them in there.
And we were going to have a conversation about that, because I believe we talked about it early on.
Well, I'd like you to have it now, or at
Well,
break.
okay.
Oh, well, it's because it's gonna mess me up, because
Yeah.
I'm signing these, and I
Right.
want what I've got to match, and if you take them out, and you're not gonna do it, then I'll just go through the contract and put it back the way it is. I don't wanna do that and then have to come back, and later you
Right.
say, well, let's do that, and I
Right.
gotta spend another
Well,
couple
at
of
this
hours.
point, during the caucus, we'll talk about
All
it
right.
to see if all of what you've done was really worth it or not.
You know, that's my life's work. I spent a whole Sunday reading through this contract, to get all those numbers and letters correct.
We'll talk about it
Okay.
to see if,
All right. It's okay if you don't wanna do it, I just,
okay.
I wanna go ahead and get it rid
But it need
of
to be a
it,
consistency,
because
okay.
I'll have a mess.
Okay. The next one before we'll give it to you, and if you have an issue, you'll say something. You guys are not shy at all. This is regarding Article 12, the alternative hire.
Page 63 on your.
Okay, thank you.
Now, I do want to raise some questions that came up. In B, H in B,
H and,
little subsection B,
okay, got it.
I don't believe you need to change the 120,000 to 40,000. We had a discussion this morning, we read back through it. Any person who's been a police officer in any city that's no population bracket for 3 continuous years is eligible to be considered for alternate. And now, that may not have been the intent, because we always kind of thought it meant cities over. It doesn't when you read the way we've got the commas. Now, if you work in a county as a deputy, it's 120,000 population. And I went and looked, And there's 37 counties over 120,000, and there's 77 counties over 40,000. When you get down below 120,000 for a county, you're looking at very, very small counties. You're looking like Beeville or something. Beacon.
Okay.
Because the question is, you can hire any police officer. And let me just, I haven't participated in the creation of this language. The intent was that a municipal officer, wherever they work, are doing the same subsidy work that they would do in Corpus. So they're handling the same type of calls. And in counties, you wanted the county big enough that the deputy is still handling the same type of calls as opposed to just being the rural resident deputy in Pecos County. And then any person who'd been at DPS, you know, they're eligible. So I would say that probably ought to leave it at 120 unless you are finding deputies in counties below 120 or some abundance of recruits.
I can't say that over the last few years, we've had sheriff's deputies applying.
They can get hired, they just can't get the added money. They can get hired.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it's impacted us. What we're trying to do is open the pool. You know, open the pool and be competitive with the other cities in Texas that are now doing alternate hiring that are way below what
Yeah,
we're
but
at.
they're not hiring deputies in counties below 40,000. Fort Worth's language is, I think, limited to cities over 100 and something thousand.
Yeah, to cities.
Yeah, I mean,
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, your discussion is that the counties that are below 120, that their job is
Different.
probably, well, there's no doubt they're a lot different. In
Yeah.
most cases, they don't even have patrol divisions.
no.
They just jails and court
Yeah.
servers.
You know, and it's okay, and we don't have a problem with you hiring them. The question is, who are we trying to attract that we're gonna pay more money to than we would the normal recruit? And that's laterals who have experience already as a municipal police officer, DPS, and have done similar work in some volume that would warrant them getting extra pay. Now, I'm not tied to this, it's kind of a personal opinion, I don't care if it's 40. I just don't know that.
I think the clarity, and as Ron said when we spoke about it, was we always worked under the assumption that you had to come from another PD that had a population of 120,000. And then
Right.
once we started kind of reading the language,
It's
and I
common.
think, Commander, you and I may have had a discussion about this way back when in a meeting, and then kind of re-looking at this, that it says any officer. And so with what Ron's saying is, I don't want to pick on some small county, but if there's only 3 deputies, I mean, I don't want somebody from Mayberry coming to work for Corpus, because they don't
Right,
They
and going
can,
ahead
but
of-
they
same.
can, but they can't get extra
Well, I
pay.
think
Right.
what y'all need to look at though, you're thinking of a lateral, just, they come over, we hire them, and that's not what we're looking at. They'd have to, just, you know, they'd have to go through an academy and
Yeah,
an
you gotta go
FTO
through the
program,
academy,
it
too.
might be modified. It's not just a lateral where we hire somebody and we put them out on the street.
But I think the intent was not who you hire, but who the union felt should step up without having been here to a higher pay grade, higher than they would have in their normal seniority. It's like, well, on these people, we think that would be an incentive to attract them. Anybody in the county under 40, I guarantee you'll triple their pay as a boot here.
Just hire them.
Sheriffs don't make 25,000 a year in about 100 counties.
Yeah.
Desperately poor. They did a survey once, it was 108 counties, the sheriff didn't make $21,000.
Okay,
The rest they got, you know, on the side.
okay. What we'll do is, based on your
Yeah.
comments, we'll, during our caucus, we'll talk through
Okay.
it. So we'll take those back. So, let's see. Discuss. So, we would like to yield to you for now.
We would, I'd like you to go to Article 7T. Oh, in the disciplinary section, I don't know.
Page 24. Page 24. Okay, so T,
No, let's see. No, I'm looking at the wrong one. Oh, here it is, yeah. Oh, there it is, okay. Yeah, T. I'm gonna change our proposal a little bit, but I wanna explain. The purpose of this section came out of Austin, where the chief at the time and the city were concerned that on minor suspensions, usually around 3 days, which is the bulk of the suspensions, that officers were appealing those suspensions because the union paid for their lawyer and they didn't pay the arbitration, and the cost to the employer and the union was greater than the suspension. So they came up with this system that if you do not appeal these minor suspensions, you can use your vacation leave or leave to pay for it, and after 24 months it comes out of your record to encourage people to accept responsibility and save everybody money. So the first part of this, the first sentence was intended to be on any suspension, the chief could, whether you appealed or not, could let you use leave at his or her discretion. So what I'm proposing is, and this will be our proposal from what we have, strike out the blue language after chief that says who appeals the disciplinary action. And then follow that sentence down to the period where it says work his or her regular schedule. Put a semicolon, however, comma, any officer temporarily suspended shall be able to use the time. That's how it should have read originally. It was cut into 2 sentences. Any suspension, the chief may grant it. But if you do not appeal 30 hours or less, you shall be allowed to burn your time and take it out. The only reason this is here is there seemed to be some confusion from the first sentence. It says the chief may grant it, and the second says the officer shall be allowed. And this is the way it would read, and that would be our proposal.
okay, so are you just inserting however?
I'm taking out the sentence after regular schedule.
Oh, you're,
I'm taking out the period, I mean,
okay.
putting a semicolon.
Uh-huh.
However, comma, any
Uh-huh.
officer. So it says the chief may, and then the exception to that may is for suspensions less than 30 hours of which the officer does not appeal. They shall be able to use their time. That's what it says now.
Yeah, so we're removing the blue language at the top.
Yes. Because it doesn't matter whether you appeal or don't appeal if it's the chief's
Yeah,
discretion.
that's what I thought.
Now, the odds of you appealing and getting it would probably be minuscule, but you,
Yes.
yes, well,
That's what I
that's his
thought.
discretion. But he may give you a suspension longer than that, and you
So
may.
you're really just returning it to the original language.
What I
and
think
adding
the
however.
intent was, what you've done in your language is change the whole purpose of it and just say, well, the chief may grant it if you don't appeal. Well, that's a whole different type of language.
Yes.
It's different than what the contract says. So that's our proposal. If you can live with that, then.
And we'll need to talk through it, because it seems like you've gotten rid of whatever you've originally proposed and just inserted the term however.
Well, no, I don't need the who does not appeal.
Right.
I do
You took
need it,
that out.
because I took it out, because
Right.
once I read the sentence, I kept trying to figure out, there was no problem except that there were two separate sentences and there should have been just a sentence with an exception. So I went back and wrote it the way I think it should have read originally, and we think
Okay.
that's okay. And you're welcome to whatever, proposal you wish, but I think this puts it back where it is and keeps the original intent of the clause.
Well, we was gonna ask you about this one anyway, so that works
There
out.
you go.
Okay. Okay, so we'll talk through that.
All right. Now, on Article 7, B, you said you were going to have something today. We don't want to change the language in Article 7B. We don't see the purpose. But you said you were going to revise your proposal today.
Now might be a good time for us to bring it forward.
Now would be the time.
Article 7B.
17.
What's that? Okay, this is for you guys. You guys have enough copies? Okay. So this Article 7, item B, during the last session, you talked a lot, you had a lot of concerns about the discovery. So we changed item 1 and 2, as you can see, from discovery to occurrence. And in item 1, we also eliminated by the chief, as well as on 2. And otherwise, as you can see, we kept all of the same language.
Tell me what's different in yours that's in the current B or in the state statute. What is it? We already have language about felonies and class A misdemeanors being discovery.
But we added Class B. That's the state statute.
It already says that the chief will have whatever times allowed in 143. And since it doesn't take away from chief's disciplinary actions in 143, which is 180 days from occurrence, all of this is in the current law or is in B. I don't understand what the change is. What's new here?
Well, 143 covers B, and I understand what you're saying in the current contract. It has, if the chief is given more time under 143, then he's allotted that more time. But it doesn't I wouldn't think that that covers Class B misdemeanors, which is in 143, so the department just wanted to sort of get closer to 143, and that was something that was dropped off. I don't know when, and I'm not sure why, but that last sentence that you're talking about, that if they have more time, they get it, that's just time to discipline. What they can actually discipline for was outlined in the contract, and B was not included in that.
So, now, the reason you don't have B in here, and the same reason San Antonio did not have B, is that you had this language before the statute was changed. That wasn't changed, I actually was involved in the changing of that in about 87. But a lot of the contracts already had that change in them, and actually the statute kind of tracks it. So if your whole purpose is, then wouldn't we just say constitute a felony or Class A or B misdemeanor, which follows the statute currently? If you get convicted or charged with an A, B, or felony, the statute already says that they can suspend you without pay, and within 30 days after final disposition, the chief can then charge you under a rule violation. And then he can use discovery if it's an A, B, or felony, or just says criminal related. It's very vague. So any misconduct, even if he never even intended to charge you criminally, he can still use discovery. The statutes are pretty liberal now. We've not had anybody want to change it. So if you just want to add B to discovery, then I probably have less heartburn about it. We can take a look at it. But all the rest of this to me just gives me heartburn, because it's all being rewritten from something we already have in the contract, and we've not had any trouble out of it.
Well, and one of the other changes, again, something that wasn't in 143 that we're trying to sync up, was the removal of that criminal statute of limitations sentence. If we have a discovery provision for criminal conduct, then why would we have this catch-all? Well, if we don't have if there's a statute of limitations that is run, then it doesn't matter when you discovered it. You can't discipline for it. So that was a removal also.
Discipline may take discipline within 180 days of discovery for conduct. For conduct, there's no, but private the system shall not prevent discrimination based on his or conviction. Well, let me re-ask this, because maybe I'm not understanding your question. All right, provided that no discrimination be taken for conduct on which the criminal statute is run regardless of the date of discovery. So really, that sentence is your heartburn?
That's it's well, it's not in here.
Okay.
It's in here.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Without looking at it, that seems to be a little more than the current law, which I don't think it has. I'd have to go look at 143. I don't think it has. If the conduct is related to criminal, then you get discovery. And that's always determined by an arbitrator. If they later think the chief was stretching to get to discovery, that'd be raised in arbitration, whether it should have been occurrence or not. Let us,
If you can look at those two things,
Yes.
I think we can
Yes.
probably use what we had in.
well, we're not, now, and this is my personal opinion, but I don't think it's our intent to allow the contract to have people escape due process merely because we had some language in here. You know what I'm saying? If someone committed a criminal act, then we want that person to get their day in court, not to say, as in Fort Worth, where this started, barring people's recovered RVs for your vacation, you know, and then when the chief found out, at the time, 180 days from occurrence, he couldn't do anything to them, and the owners wouldn't prosecute, and so they escaped that, and that's what started all of this. So we don't want that to be the practice here. But let us talk to Celeste and make sure what her comfort level is.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Oh, you guys can hold on. Yeah, you can hold on.
Actually, let's go over to Article 10, your Affordable Care Act. You want a high five for just a moment? Now the court has backed that up. I don't know your politics, I just asked it. She went right over your head, didn't it?
No, I know where you are. Just said, okay.
It's just a political, it's all political now.
Okay, so,
I'm giving you just a little fine tuning to your proposals.
this is the affordable.
The red, the red is your language, and rather than have two comparables, I put in blue our counter.
Bear with, here, this right here. This is one of them. This one, okay. Okay, you can talk to us now.
All right. I just took your proposal and just a habit as a lawyer, when you put 30 days, I put calendar, or if I
Okay.
intend it to be business, because we have had more arbitrations over that. In the old days, everybody just wrote it and assumed. I'm
Okay.
my mind just kind of snaps over that. And then it just says you'll confer in good faith for a period of 30 days, and I added to come to a mutual agreement regarding the city's proposals. That's an
Well,
E.
this is,
It's in here,
it's on
okay.
page 45.
45, okay. Okay, so we see where, well, you're actually bringing up all of the items that we wanted to bring up, so.
Well, I listened to your conversation back there on the mic.
Yeah, I guess we-
I thought I'd just get ahead of you, but that's for transparency and full disclosure.
Okay, so is this the one?
Don't mess up your rhythm there.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so when you indicate, before we give this to you, you indicate in your proposal a qualified licensed professional.
That's correct.
Who are you? Define that for us.
That'd be Randy McGraw.
Okay.
I got into this in San Antonio, where the city, I won't name him, it's a public figure, but the city hired a guy to be their healthcare consultant, and then he isn't licensed. And you are required to be licensed to be a healthcare consultant. There's all these rules through the insurance board, I guess.
Okay.
Well, theirs wasn't. So then they claim, well, he's not working for the city, he's working for the lawyers, and therefore he can do it.
Okay.
And Randy McGraw, and then whether it's him or not him, there are people licensed to consult with employers and companies over healthcare. You can look that up, or you can call him, he'll tell you what the license is. And that's only why that came up, because we got into a big rigmarole in San Antonio, because their consultant wasn't licensed
Right.
to do this. So, I just threw that in.
Well, now that you've answered that, we would like to give you our
Counter to the
counter
counter?
to that counter. Yes. Okay, everybody has a copy. Okay, you'll be able to see in red where in your proposal, you pretty much indicated that, under E, that near the end, that we have 30 days to come to a mutual agreement. But we wanted to add some language in the event that we did not come to a mutual agreement, that we have language that says that if we're unable to reach the agreement within the 30 days, that we will agree to retain this qualified licensed professional health insurance expert to assist us in the effort to come to some resolve.
Yes, it's sort of pulling the same out of F, and
Including-
really E encompasses that Affordable Care Act, but in case there was anything else like it to ever come down the road, if we need to make changes to avoid these penalties or to comply with federal requirements, state requirements, we would sort of follow what we've agreed to on the Affordable Care Act. And again, using your language of that qualified licensed health insurance expert to do that.
Okay. We'll take a look at it and talk.
Okay.
You want me to keep going on your proposal?
Or we could, since you keep touching our items.
They're just so low hanging.
We have I think we have a few, don't we?
Sure, go ahead.
Because I'm gonna get a little nervous if you keep
Well,
touching
We're in the secrecy business.
She yielded to us.
I did, didn't I? Okay.
That's okay, you can have it back.
Yes, we have. Is this the one
Study materials.
we just said this one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so this one is tied to,
So it's the same article, but it's a counter.
what page do you have?
Well, in theirs, it's on page 67. They don't have any qualifications.
Okay, oh, they have it right, but it's regarding the, right here. Okay. So, here are these. Okay, so this one is in reference to Article 13 promotions. This is your proposal where,
I don't believe I had a proposal.
Yeah, we did.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, no, it's.
Well, it's
Oh,
your
I see.
regular.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's
your
really a counter. First, we struck through that Article 13 on the study materials, and now we've countered in sort of a different.
This is the
bullet.
one that you asked us to reconsider.
Right.
Now, go ahead.
So we are,
You reconsider.
thank you. And as a result, what well, you'll see the language here, where we actually created, well, it's the new K contract language for lieutenants, where we are basically indicating that once they're promoted to the rank of lieutenant, within a year, they would need to attend 4 hours contract training sessions related to the contract. And the specific times of that training will be set by the department. Because based on your conversations last time, it seems like you are very interested in your command staff to understand, like lieutenants, to understand the contract. And this is our way of introducing it to you to satisfy your concerns.
I see it now.
Please remember, we reconsidered. Just
I
wanted to
got
tell
you.
Okay, so you guys gonna talk about it later?
We can.
Okay. And then we have something else here. This is- Okay. This one is, oh, no, this one. This is very much. Okay, so this is Article 18, the closing clause. As you can see, we're operating from your language, and the language that, what we actually changed was the year. I believe you go to September 30th, 2013, no, 2023, and we want to go to 2021.
Well, I understand your proposal.
Well, I am so glad. Okay, so that's 18. Okay. When you guys go to caucus, you plan to talk about the FTO's issue? Or were you gonna talk about it before caucus?
Well,
I don't wanna change your.
oh no, it's thrown me off. And off my game now. Found out I was listening to you, push it back a little bit. You wanna wait?
Do y'all have something?
Well, we really was waiting for you.
Can you give Ron and I a 30-second caucus real quick?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Got
Deanna's the meteorologist.
Localized flooding. Torrential rainfall is occurring.
Have to pay dearly.
And then there's another one. Which
We
is
need to vote before we leave.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe.
got a flood advisory and a special weather, high wind.
Already?
Don't look at the radar, it's gonna scare you.
Shows clear? Yeah, it shows it's coming. Yeah, it's supposed to localize flooding.
So we're safe in this building, right?
Oh, no. Been hit by lightning so many times. It's all back in that corner. It's blue. That's why I got Wayne's shield number up there. We're asking for some divine
It's a protected zone right
divine
there.
protection.
Alcohol and.
That's the alcohol and Wayne and
Yeah.
lightning.
Yeah.
Don't fix
I'm
it.
gonna go ahead and proceed on that.
No, go ahead.
Margie, I guess, when we spoke last time, we talked about the FTO, and both sides agreed that we need that we like the 36-month minimum upon graduation from CCPD Academy. And here's where I'm getting stuck. In 2010, the city came to us and said, hey, we need to lower that from 60-month requirement to 36. And we were opposed to that, but we went ahead and did it. And the city's reasoning was, well, we need a larger pool to pick from.
Okay.
Now we're at 36 months, and we're struggling with 36 months. And so what we talked about is we're kind of in a quandary. If we agree to keep it with 36 months, we were trying to tighten up the language on 36 months to keep it 36 months. But then y'all offer an encounter with the ability for the chief to pick somebody. I'm lost as to at what point do we keep reducing it down and keep going backwards? So I've said all that to say, do y'all have something else in mind that where we can clear this thing up that's workable for the department once and for all? And maybe that's what y'all are gonna caucus with. That's kind of where we're stuck at right now.
Oh, so the real key is you guys don't like our counter that we presented to you?
To a degree, that's correct.
Okay.
Because the problem is, the only thing that changes is it allows the chief the ability to pick somebody with
Right.
less than 36 months of service. So at what point do we keep going down or less and less and less in service? So just for grins, we did an internet search on FTO and Wikipedia, and I'm not gonna swear by Wikipedia.
Okay.
But they threw up a senior officer that trains a junior officer. Well, at what point is a 2-year officer a senior officer with time on the department doing the training? You see where I'm going with this? And so we're not necessarily opposed to something. We're just looking for some clarity where both sides agree, because my big concern with hand selection by the chief is the perception that people will be picked for reasons that may not be accurate and the truth.
The intent of the conversation that we had since the beginning isn't that, so we don't feel like we did it a few years ago. A few years ago, we didn't have the candidate pool necessary to fill the class. So the intent of the language isn't for us to say that the chief just gets to pick who he wants. It's that, so we don't have the pool, right? And we need 40, and we have 34, and we need 6 more people. It would still have to be, in my thought process, I think we'd still have to have you still have to go through the process. I don't want the chief hand selecting anybody. The process is, so we say 36 months under the new definition is our new pool, right? That's gonna limit it. We know that the number will now shrink a little bit because it was 36 months of service with the city to 36 months service with the PD, which we all agreed, it's not a bad idea, it's a good idea. So we don't get that pool. So now what do we do for those 6 people? I don't want the chief appointing them. I don't think the concept is that. It's then you either reopen the FTO selection process to say, maybe as of last week when we talked, maybe the conversation is that you can now, because we failed to fill the pool, we can now have candidates at 32 months. And that's our floor, you know? But there has to be a mechanism for the chief to fill the class. Because if you don't have the instructors necessary to teach, then what are we gonna do?
Well, and
We've had
Mr.
4
Manning, you
FTOs
just
quit
proved
just
what I'm
this month.
saying. We're dropping it down lower. Where are we gonna stop then?
Well, then the thing has to be is, what would be your idea of incentivizing people to wanna be FTOs? Because it's not money,
It is money.
It is
in
money.
some
It is
cases,
money.
It is money.
you know?
It is money.
We just have to figure out how to, the pool has to stay sufficient enough to make the program run. We average 25 people a year, and we need almost 40 FTOs to do it. So then, when we don't get the 40, how do we do that? If 36 is our cap and then we're done, we're not gonna go without 6 FTOs or 5.
Right.
So how do we, so
don't disagree
does the
with
floor
that.
go to 32 months? Maybe that's where the floor needs to be, only if you don't reach the 36.
Okay, but so if we do drop from 36 to 32, and at 32, we still don't get them, what are we gonna do now? Because we've already dropped from 60 to 36. These were city proposals coming to the association saying, we need a bigger pool, we're not getting them at 60. Okay, we need a bigger pool, we're not getting them at 36.
But
What's left then?
wouldn't you agree that really, your goal should be to have 5 years and pay the money that will attract the pool. You got plenty of people eligible. I mean, they may not be applying, but the pool is hundreds of people who could do it, hundreds of them.
Yes.
So, to me, I think at some point, you're gonna get in trouble when an FTO or if the rookie they've got commits some act of negligence and you've got someone who hadn't even been a police officer 3 years as the FTO. I mean, they're directing that person who technically doesn't know enough to be without supervision. And so when they come to the city and say, my God, you've got hundreds of officers with 5, 10, 20 years. Well, we didn't pay enough to get them to come over, so we're just going to keep lowering the standards as opposed to doing what it takes to get 40 people to come over and do it.
So am I to assume that at 5 years, there was a challenge because we didn't have enough people?
There was never, years back, there was no requirement. FTOs were handpicked. You could be 18 months, you could be 12 months. They were hand selected based on the captain in charge of the program. Over the years, we then went to selection. And then it increased up to 60 months. In the last contract, or the one before?
In 2010, we dropped from 60 to 36.
It went to 60 months.
Why?
It was 60 months 10 years ago, and then 5 years ago, they lowered it to 36 because 60 months with the pool of dollars did not attract candidates.
Oh, so that was
The
it.
dollar amount over 30 years has not really climbed. It was $50 when I joined, and I think it was at 200 today.
200.
I mean, it has not climbed in 30 years, technically.
People pay substantially more.
Yes.
You're looking for not only all that are eligible, but whom the chief thinks would make the best person to be with that rookie. So, at a certain number, you'll attract a pool. It's just like hiring. You raise your pay, and from that, you try to find the best people in there. Corpus could leave the pay as it was 20 years ago. You're just going to end up dropping your standard down. So what we've been doing is complying with the city by lowering the standard as opposed to addressing the real problem is you want 40 of your best people who will influence and get this person on the right footing in a challenging business today. And I'd like to step outside and have a word with you. No, I'm just joking. Just step outside. I want to talk. Go on out. I'll meet you there just so I get the
Outside.
place. Outside.
No, and Ron, you're
Yeah.
right. I mean, you're right. In the best world, for us to have 60-month or better that are attracted to the job, that want to do a really good job, that benefits everybody here. I just don't know how we get there with what's there.
It is a minimal amount of money. FTOs, we don't have that many FTOs. And if we're doing one class a year, it is a minimal amount of money to increase it by $100. And see what that does to the situation. I believe you're going to get a whole lot more people applying.
That's not something that was proposed by you.
It hasn't
That's
been,
not on the
it
table.
has not been proposed. But my thought is, and correct me if I'm wrong, if we mutually agree to something such as that,
My only thing with this is that I need to fill the pool. And today, it's not being filled. I think this next class in November, it'll actually be more critical than it is this time. Because we've already had a handful of people quit in progress of the exam. And 3 resigned in the last 2 weeks from the program. No, from the FTO program. So I look at it where I'm going in November, and today I won't make the numbers if we have a 25-person class. I might not have 20 FTOs. So my thing is how do we get there? Me and Ron, we don't disagree in fact, I don't disagree with anybody on the premise of how do we recruit the best quality candidate and what it takes to get them there. It's just how does that happen? It's not a proposal on the table. I don't know how that works to get it on the table.
Well,
It's just for me.
FTOs are on the table. We just haven't talked about the money.
It's just for me. And the admin is like we have to make sure that we have the numbers necessary to make sure we have a viable program. And we've already seen in less than 3 years, it didn't work. And we didn't, I can't say I like the result, but we had to get the result to make the program move forward.
I agree with what you're saying, and obviously you have a job to do by filling those
Yeah, so
vacancies. We believe it's money-driven, and I think that that is probably our next logical step, is to attempt to increase the pay and see what outcome we have there. That's just
So you
my
truly
thought.
believe it's all about money?
Well, let me ask you this, if they'd only paid $25,000 a year for your job, would you have taken it? No. It is all about the money at some point.
It is good.
It's not, you're talking about whom you wish to be the influence on someone. I really believe, this is anecdotal, but you really don't, you need about 5 years to get the kinks out. I think that's why most things are built around that, to get them in, to get rid of the John Wayne out of them, or John Wayneette.
Okay.
And to make them understand the business, the culture of the police department, the expectations. That doesn't really come in the academy. It comes when they're really arresting real suspects, chasing real cars, and making real life decisions. Most departments take very seriously who they'll even let touch a recruit, because they want them to be stamped properly. And when they get out there, they have that influence. It's really important. And we're not just joking for the money. I mean, you're not required by law to give them any training except put it through the academy, but people take that serious because that's your only time where you really have a lot of influence on them, because they don't know anything and they're glad to be here, and you know, they obviously wanted the job, they survived the academy, and we just think that that's a very critical period. Among 500 officers, you need 40 of people of which you think would be not only train them but be a good influence on them, because there are officers out there, their personalities aren't suited for training somebody. They do their job, but they can't seem to translate. The same as educators. A lot of people know the knowledge, but they just can't get it across.
So,
And-
so
yeah.
these, and I didn't mean to cut
No,
you
no,
off,
no, go on,
Ron,
go on.
but these individuals, FTOs, come into play after an academy, after they've been on the job for a year, or within during that year?
They do their 30 weeks of academy, and then they do 30 weeks on the street in training.
And these
With those
FTOs.
FTOs.
With an FTO,
Yeah.
each month they move to a different one. The time, they'll go through 6 or 7. They'll be evaluated in plain clothes for the last 2 weeks. And then they're put on their own, if they graduate, they're put on their own for the last 5.5 months of their probation.
Okay.
Or they're evaluated by lieutenants
Okay.
every 2 weeks until they're blessed to become regular officers.
And people don't make it.
We have people that
they don't make it.
routinely.
They got through the academy, in real life, they're just not suited for the business.
So these FTOs help management determine whether they can survive or not?
They're chosen as really good officers. They have a good work history, and they usually are better officers that have done really good in the street. They're recognized by lieutenants, and they're chosen to a selection committee,
Okay.
and then they're paid like minimum. I mean, $200 is not a lot for the
Is that
7
a
months that
month?
they participate.
Is it 200
200
a
a month?
Okay.
And it's about a 7-month program. And then some are extended for a little longer, but usually by 8 months, they're done for the year.
Oh,
It
so
eats
to
up
the
a
next
lot of your
class.
time. Reason a lot of officers don't want to mess around. They want to. It's a lot of time. And you got to worry about them. You got to worry about they got a gun. You got to worry about what they're going to do. And you're focused on something, and here's this untrained person behind you. And there's a lot of work. You got to do all the paperwork. And then they're going to constantly want to know how's their progress, how did they handle that, and it just adds to your work day for $1,400.
Well,
You work an
well-
extra job and make that.
Why don't we consider
Yeah.
this? It sounds like we know that there are some issues. We'll talk about it on our side, and maybe
Alright.
you guys might want to come, see if you can come up with something other than what we have on the table.
Okay.
And
Okay.
maybe we can discuss it later
Okay.
after the caucus.
You want a
'Cause-
break now?
I
think we've gone through them all.
Did we put them all, have we taken care of all of those? Yeah.
Okay, I think
Yeah,
it's
that one.
time for
Oh,
us to.
that one and one other
Oh,
one.
there's one.
I got
Am I missing
more.
one?
Yeah.
It's a meeting.
Videos.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's under 7.
Yeah, here it is. I missed it. Top of page 2.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going there.
Yeah, go ahead, on both of them.
The other non-economic we have on the table is where we have language that prior to the interview, we want the officer to be able to view all the digital recordings, including videos and audios, relevant to that investigation that the employer has in their possession at that time.
Right.
And
Flash flood.
I'm sure it is. And we don't understand why the city would be opposed to that. What is your policy on these things? Because they're public documents. What is the city's policy for the media for coming in and requesting body camera videos or jail videos? The public can walk in the door, the media does it every day. Says, I want those videos, so public information.
Yeah, anybody that requests the freedom of information, requests for a video, unless the case, our FOI people now will send the request to the Attorney General. If the case is a criminal case and it's pending to seek its, very few videos are released, because we only maintain for 90 days, and if they're not criminal and they're not tagged that way, they erase automatically. So, but within the 90 days, if they're criminal related, the Attorney General makes the decision on the release. We don't release them if they're involved in an investigation. But you can go in and request them, and they are open record for video, cars, and others.
Now, this is one of the ones, are you talking about Article 7?
C5.
C5.
Yes.
This is one of the ones you asked us to revisit, if I'm
Correct.
not mistaken. We have revisited this item, and we would like to talk about it, but we would like to talk about it later, today,
Okay.
after we've gone through some other items.
Okay. What other items you got?
The ones that we're gonna caucus about, okay? So we have not forgotten you there.
Time to.
Man, that ain't right.
So are we ready to caucus?
I've got one more for you,
Oh, okay.
and that would be Article 3, Section C.
Article 3,
I think at the last one, we asked you about this one, and you said you needed a little more time to talk about it.
Is this, we're treating this as an economic item,
Okay.
so you're gonna hear about that?
Uh-oh.
You're gonna hear about it.
And you are gonna hear about this one.
Wait till your daddy gets home.
You guys.
You're gonna have to wait in the bus stop without a raincoat.
All right, are you ready to caucus?
We're ready to
All right,
caucus.
there's sodas here, and we actually have some breakfast tacos back there.
We all ready. We did receive the information, the 3 proposals that you placed on the table. Did you want to talk through them?
I do.
or- Okay. We should pull your.
Is it on my email?
Yes. It should be on the
I got them
bottom.
copied right here.
Oh, okay. Oh, you guys have copies?
Yeah. And this through ours.
Okay.
It's
You put that
It's
on
not
some
perfect,
things.
but,
So this is.
give you that.
Oh, this is what you want.
I need to go on their side too. No, take what y'all need.
These two are for.
That's not it.
Here, these two are you, for
That's
you
not
and,
it. Is it
these two are for, this is
You've
the one
given-
that's talking
That's it.
about.
The calendar?
So this is, I don't know what.
That's yours.
That's
Oh,
yours.
somebody's
Mine.
notes. That was just stuck in there somewhere. What
Okay.
else
I
did you,
just-
this all?
So
Oh,
did-
that's it.
Did you
The
find
two-
anything else you can keep?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is. You've already got this.
Okay.
Whatever they
Um,
wanna share,
Oh, we got too many.
take.
Okay, so this is the first one, this is article.
All right. What I told you, this is it, and what I'm recommending, and I don't know, oh, it's 056, I already got a typo for a start. What I'm recommending, and I got it cleaned up here, I didn't put in parentheses the H.
Okay.
What I'm recommending is, currently, 143.052H handles the 180-day rule for discipline and has the discovery language, which is a very broad, criminally related, doesn't even name A, B's, it's pretty loose. And 143.056 is the current statute of limitations if you're actually indicted or charged with a felony or a misdemeanor A or B. And those, as far as I know, city legal can look at it, but as far as I know, those are the statutory requirements. Talk to Celeste about this and take it and give it some thought. But I think if we just use that, we don't have to rewrite older language, and this is what everybody uses in the state of Texas. So you have all the language from the statute, you have the court cases, and if you need to consult some civil service expert, they're not trying to interpret your contract, they'll tell you what they think the statute says. And so, for the purposes of statutes of limitations, we'll just operate under the law. And it's pretty broad.
Okay.
Okay? The second one, I didn't put the statute, but it's the over in promotions.
13.
13.
Article 13, yeah, that's page 67.
Yeah, I'll just hurry to get this done. We have some internal opinions about this in an effort to keep moving and to try to get something established. What I proposed to you, what I proposed to you is, let me make a note. What I propose to you is that there be a class no less than 4 hours or more than 8 hours, and that the chief and the association will mutually agree to the agenda and instructors. We don't know what's in it, and since we're teaching a mutually agreed upon contract, we don't think the department, we don't want it to be indoctrination. We want it to be a program. Now, if management and labor disagree as to what something means, of course, they can both tell them, in the same class, but it would give us a chance. We'll see how it goes. We may need more than 4 hours, we may not need it. But I think the chief association sit down and say, look, this is who we want to, we teach in the contract, it's actually the sections involving new supervisors. And they'll agree on an agenda, we'll try it and see how it works.
Okay, we're gonna need to talk through that one during the
Okay.
next caucus.
And the next one is, This is our counter on Article 18 closing. And I would tell you, though I never say never, it's not gonna go below 3 years. We have 4, you have 2. 3 we think is a comfortable number, 2's too uncomfortable.
But 2 is uncomfortable?
Yes.
Is that what you're?
Yeah, so we'll give you 3 is our counter proposal.
Okay.
And I moved it up the tree. It's higher up, it's not a low-hanging fruit anymore.
Okay. We'll discuss this one.
And, I think your language on the Affordable Care Act is okay.
So are we ready to TA it?
Well, I want you to draw it up, and we'll
Yes.
do it next meeting.
It's drawn.
It's already drawn? I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay. And we would like to, at the same time, deal with your proposal as it relates to that consumer-driven limits. You remember that?
The health
No,
plan.
the dollar
The health plan,
amounts
the dollar
that,
amount.
that Randy told you about.
Unless you, yeah, you have some other number?
No,
No,
we're
no,
ready
no.
to TA it.
Oh, no, I'm okay.
You
Thought
okay?
you might have had some other number.
No. No. Okay, so here,
All right,
oh, I'm sorry. And then here is the affordable care.
okay. I don't know what we're gonna do in the future, because, you know, we get a new, if we have a new president, and we won't have the Affordable Care Act, and we won't have the Supreme Court, so there's gonna be a lot of confusion in the next couple of years.
So you actually think the Supreme Court's gonna go away?
I heard Mike Huckabee say it.
It must be true.
God, it's
And Donald Trump.
Take, yeah,
I'm just
Poor Donald.
thinking, wow,
the 3,
wow. Lose a couple of decisions, and
yeah.
I think the last person tried it was Franklin Roosevelt on the liberal side, and he lost. But it's okay, because, you know,
That's for entertainment anyway.
I think it's gonna be a really interesting election. My candidate is in the field, but he doesn't have a chance.
Oh.
I'm a Bernie Sanders.
I was just gonna say, you're Bernie
Oh,
Sanders, aren't you?
absolutely. I want someone to throw a bomb and shake everybody up. I mean, there's a man who's totally unconventional, he's a socialist.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, he is.
No,
Yeah, he's,
he totally, oh, he hadn't got a prayer now, but that's okay. That's okay. It'll be pure entertainment for the next couple of years. The Donald. The Donald. I think that's gonna be interesting.
they showed this picture to all these kids in New York City, and they said, who is this guy? And they said, that's Colonel Sanders. They identified him as Colonel. They said, no, he's running for president. Really? He looks like the chicken guy. College kids.
You'd think you'd get a better haircut if you had that kind of money.
Our country's in trouble.
We're in deep trouble.
That's our college kids, Rich. Colonel Sanders. He's running for president? Wow.
Now's the time to set the betting pool on who's gonna be the Republican nominee. There's no way to tell with 20 people, I mean, really.
I know, that's a
I mean,
lot.
Jimmy Carter wasn't in the race, he won, and Clinton wasn't even really a contender, and he won. You just don't know. People fall out, you know, pretty quick, but it is gonna be interesting.
With the Donald in there, it will be.
Not with the Donald, just with debates alone.
He brings a whole new life to say whatever you want.
Now, I might have this question, I want it off the record.
Then we better cut off the camera.
I don't care if it's on or off. Oh, I don't care if it's on or off.
Okay.
The question I would have is, if you're running on the Republican side, and the base of that, I mean, a high percentage of the voters over there are Christians, what's he gonna say on his multiple marriages, including divorcing one woman like a month before the prenup set in, so he wouldn't have to pay her all this money? That was one of his wives. He divorced her. Smart businessman. Well, see, he's picking up the conservatives and the Republicans. Well, I don't know if women are gonna see
The
it
back
quite
row
that
has
way.
some severe insight on this issue.
Like that second wife, he had a prenup with her. He stayed married past a set date. He owed her, God, like $50 million. So he divorced her. Like the day before, and saved himself like $50 million. Then he married another woman, got a different prenup. I mean, this is America, you know. And
That's
so I thought, you know, it's pretty
purely a
ingenious.
business invention.
So, oh well.
Okay, so. You got
Enough
that out of your
politics?
system?
You ain't even heard the most of it. What is not, yeah. Wait till next, this fall, those people are gonna suffer. I'm just waiting to say it. I'm just
Okay.
asking questions, I'm just an observer.
So anything else on your side?
I think. Except for you taking care of this video recording question, just feel it's haunting us
Oh,
and separating us.
yeah, we,
You signed off on
hold on.
it? Well, I heard you talking about it, and I wanted to go ahead and
Okay,
get it on the record.
there's another potential TA.
Okay.
Article 7T. That one is, and this is the one where we put the semicolon and however.
Okay. You just need to drop by San Antonio next week and help us get that deal done.
So you're almost there?
Well, I'm almost there. That's committing suicide, but I don't know about getting a settlement. It's like a circus. See, this is T, okay. Oh, there it is. I couldn't think of it. Now, you would have liked to made the money those lawyers made.
You mean in San Antonio?
If you were the negotiator, you know, for the city. You know what they've paid, those,
Oh, so they're not internal?
oh, no.
No.
They have the assistant city attorney there, and I don't know what she
Okay.
makes, a couple $100,000 a year. Nothing personal. You're in the wrong damn city.
So how you know she doesn't make that?
I know damn well she doesn't make it.
You saw my face?
I've been working here 35 years.
You see that lack of a smile down there?
I forgot
It's
to
like,
see her
"Oh."
face.
And assistant city managers are up, I think, in the $300,000 bracket.
You mean in San
San Antonio,
Antonio?
absolutely. The manager's 500.
She's at 5?
She gets 400,000, another 100,000 soft money, and $1 million if they dismiss her during her contract. And she's getting a new contract
Like if
coming
I'm
up
not supposed
next
to get
week for a
dismissed.
pay raise.
Yeah, I think I could get
And
dismissed.
assistant city manager's in the 300, 250. But the 3 lawyers that they hired, Jeff Lund out of Houston, some white shoe law firm, Betty Lynn, who works in the public sector, and Michael Bernard, who's the ex-city attorney, who's a private sector, their billing is $1,500 an hour.
Whoa.
They've charged $1 million in legal fees. And we have no deal, and I don't think we have a TA. And it's still ticking. Well, I should have went to a better law school. That's South Texas.
Yeah.
That was just, I ought to sue them.
Yeah.
They told me I'd be successful.
Where'd you go?
I want my money back.
Was it online? back
Yeah,
in the day?
it was online. There wasn't anything online.
Phoenix Law School.
Oh, no. Yep. Proud, I wear red socks. That's what they wear, red socks. Have that commercial, you can see their graduates.
Okay, so that took care of that one. Okay, so there's a few others that we would like to share with you.
All right.
Article 11, item H, the leave buyback.
Let me go back.
The city is withdrawing that proposal.
Just a strike.
Yes.
Now, that doesn't address what we had talked about.
Right.
Goes back to, it's effective August the 1st of each year. Or just going back to 99, leaving it as it is.
So are you saying with their withdrawal, it'll now read like this, or is that our?
That is the
It'll
current.
remain-
That's the
it'll
current
remain as
con-
current.
That's the current contract, except for the each year.
With that scratched out?
No. So, now, and you're talking about putting the 1999 back in?
Yes, we want it to remain just as it is in the contract.
We're gonna have to call this again anyway, and some other stuff. We'll address that.
I need to add that. Okay, can I move on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the numbers. Okay, so, alternate hiring, Article 12, H. We're withdrawing that proposal also.
Now, do you still have the strikeout language?
We want it to remain as is in the contract.
Including any such agreement be made by the chief, subject to approval of association's executive.
Right, if it's already there, because I think we struck that out.
So you want
We
that
want
back in?
it, we want everything to go back to what's in the contract.
Okay. I assume you mean except the T-close technical.
Let's see what he's
Oh,
with
the
this section
T-close.
here.
We probably will have to do it to.
And you had
to
the
deal
word
with that
training you
T-close.
back to academy.
Well, we did the.
We did the
Definition
definition,
section,
so
and
we've
we're
done
gonna
the
have to change
definition
that out.
that will change it throughout the
we're gonna-
Yes, but you
contract.
still have it in the contract.
But when we do, with us doing the definition, when we go to redo the contract, wouldn't we just go through
No,
whenever
the
we're?
definition is telling you what TC, OLE means, and then in the contract, it just uses the abbreviation. You still gotta change the abbreviations to the current.
Which means that we'll probably have to do a tentative agreement just to deal with T-close?
No, it's already, we've already marked all of those. Those are just, to me, just, when the
Okay.
deals matches the definition. The definition's approved, so all we do
That's
is
what
go
I'm
through.
saying.
I know, but you still gotta go through and change.
Right?
So, and I did.
Oh, so you're saying everything but that? Everything remains the same except
Yeah, you-
T-close?
You corrected that to match
Okay.
the definition,
Okay,
so,
so I think we're saying the same thing?
yes.
Okay.
And
So this is the only one that will change. Can I move on?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Article 12, the FTOs, did you guys talk about it? 'Cause
Ad
we don't have any
nauseam.
other.
Ad nauseam.
We don't have any other counter other than, what we placed on the table.
We'll prepare something for the next,
Cause I was hoping we could deal with it today. You don't wanna deal with it today?
yes, we can deal with it today.
That we mutually agree.
Well, I don't know about
What do
that.
we need? I forgot that part.
What, section that's in?
Article 12, all I know is page 59 on mine.
Article 12.
It's probably right. Maybe not.
No, it's over in personnel, yeah, it's in personnel 12, yeah.
Yeah, personnel practice. That's page 59. We're almost there. That's-
Yeah, that's like the process that they agree upon. Yeah.
So, like, going back to the web. Which one was that? Alternative. Which one was that? Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Page 62. Okay, so that stays, that goes. That one already there? Okay, but this goes back to regular language. And all of this is, did we spread them in this? So we're withdrawing. This will automatically change. This will go back to 120.
You
what?
you want my reply?
Sure,
Okay. Well, you asked me.
sure. This is the FTOs, right?
All right.
Okay, 59, okay.
We'll withdraw our proposal and we'll accept your proposal if you'll raise the FTO pay to $350 a month. It's currently $200. And we think then with the money raised, then we don't have to worry too much.
And raise it to how much?
From 200 to 350.
We're gonna need to caucus in a few minutes and we'll talk about it then.
All right.
It looks like, and when we come back, hopefully we can come to terms with the final items, including the digital recording item.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna need to, I think we've covered, have you guys covered everything you need to?
I think so. See anything?
We will talk about those numbers. Remember you asked us to talk about that, where you've written out all of the numbers throughout the contract, one Sunday afternoon job?
It was.
Okay. We will have a response to that.
I'm into Uruguayan soccer, so it wasn't that interesting. The 1-on-1
That's
game.
what I say.
They were playing Paraguay. Took me a bit, but I went and got it done. All right.
Was it subtitled?
Yes, it was all in Spanish. They were all excited.
Goal!
Goal, goal. Very excitable.
Wait, we don't want you to leave yet.
Oh.
Here it comes.
Here's-
Preemption. Is it?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, then let's put it. We would like to give you our language on the digital recording for you guys to be reviewing while we finish
Okay.
our parts.
And also, on your, get over there, Article
12.
12. What, can you tell me why that in that article, since you took out,
Okay, Article 12, tell me what you're talking about.
I'm saying is why you need that preemption language there? Didn't you take out?
Yeah, that should have been all withdrawn.
Yeah.
Withdrew
When we
that
withdrew,
entry.
Yeah,
That-
because you don't need it
No.
anymore, you're not preempting.
Because it was
anything.
connected
right.
with the intrinsic
That's right,
ground.
so we
Yes.
didn't make that.
Okay.
All right, good catch there, Mr. Shipley.
Okay, so this is what,
Moved up.
this is for you guys to take a look at.
Lucky you came up with something. I've been waiting. The back table's been.
There's a, we need another one here. There's a blank sheet.
You got the closers in the back.
Yeah,
I'll give you
closers. Rembrandts, all the Rembrandts.
I think you'll be able to see, this is Article 7, Item 5.
Okay,
You see your language, and then you can see what we added in red. And then we eliminated relevant to the investigation part. You guys wanted to talk through it?
Yeah, we'll need to caucus a second on
That's all we had, and we wanted to caucus also.
that. Okay?
You good with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We are.
We actually have about 4 items to consider today.
Man.
Isn't that awesome?
It is.
Okay, so the first one is in relation to Article 7B. I'll let you guys take a look.
All right. You all right?
I'm fine, I'm referring to you.
If I screwed it up, we'll take it back next week.
This one we signed?
I'm just about as good as my word is for the day. Next week I could be different. Okay. Today, I'm okay.
Here you go, Judge.
Okay, so the next one is Article 7(5), C5. The next one is Article 13, promotions, item K, contract training for the lieutenants.
Is that the work of your concern?
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It's very sloppy. I didn't need my signature.
Who signed that?
It doesn't appear to, I've had a fingerprint, a fingers expert, handwriting expert.
That with the fingerprint
No.
somewhere right next to it?
Looked at that.
Instead of your mark?
I do need to, let me just see that in just a second, so I'm cleaning it from here just for a second.
I'll just put a X. See, that's a whirl. That must be Ryan Reichart.
This is closing clause.
So you accepted our counter?
Yes, we do. Somebody's scoring low.
Cheap seats.
What happens when you're playing Candy Crush back there?
It's still making noise.
Maybe we can get another round here. Not.
We did the digital.
I was a victim of sexual harassment when I was in high school. That's why my typing is so poor. I signed up for typing because that's where all the girls were. And I was a senior, you know, you're taking some electives. And they just came in there one day and said, "You two boys, you're out of this class. We got two girls that need to take typing."
Ooh, and you didn't do anything about
This
it?
was 1966.
Yeah,
You
sounds
think
like
I
a
was
Was
gonna
it-
do it?
was it a lot of
Some big
rules?
old coach walking there and went, hey, you two, out.
Yeah.
They knew we were goofing off. Sign up to type. All the girls were there. So I don't know, I would chop 3, making a bowl for my mother. That's about it.
A shelf, a plaque, a bowl.
Shelf or something that, you know,
Candlestick.
for her cigarettes.
Ashtray.
Let me,
I did all those.
no, that's where I ended up. It didn't matter, I didn't care. But it is messed me up. I'm just a 2-finger typist today.
Me too.
I would have liked those.
So it's- Yeah, I'm pretty
Do they
good.
still have
I
future
was one.
homemakers like they used to
Once in a
have
while
when
you
my
do
wife
that.
was
You do
in
that.
school? They do?
Make you feel like you're doing
Really?
3
in a row.
Wow,
And that's where women learn to be a wife.
really?
Yes.
I missed that class.
No, they had it at Future Homemakers.
I think it was called home economics.
We had home
It might have been.
We had
I
home
only
economics.
lasted a week.
And you were out?
I
I'm not taking this. Oh, no, my wife had to go through
They
it.
taught them how to cook.
No, cooking, sewing.
Sewing, all that stuff.
Yeah,
I
and
think I
actually
burned
it's
some
really
cookies.
life.
That was the end of that,
They
huh?
asked me to leave.
You were
I
kicked
was
out?
fine. I
See,
was
you have a sexual harassment complaint yourself.
I think it was too much smoke.
It's too much. Oh, today, I don't think they do it.
I don't think they do any of that stuff anymore. They don't offer anything. No, it's-
Do they still have wood shop and shop for
But you know what,
cars?
they don't have it, they're like, Miller,
Yeah, Miller
here,
has it.
and that's about it. King doesn't have it. And Moody doesn't have it.
Not everyone.
Yeah. And that's very, they've taken it away from everything.
Time for next class.
I don't even know what they teach in school.
Cleaning up and.
We used to go, all the tools were on a wall, that goes in the whole wall. They all had they all were circled in, so you struggled to go. You stole the screwdriver. Everything was outlined in marker. Everything had to be accounted for. You left the room. Okay. Body search. Missing a screwdriver.
And he goes, Angel.
That doesn't work.
Okay.
Mine lost his, I lost his thumb in class, and the next year we didn't have woodshop no more. Some guy tugged on this thing, asking what time it was, and he went, that thumb just shot across the room.
Yeah, junior high.
That was the end of that, never had it again.
Anymore.
They used to offer them Sunday school. Up there, woodshop, metal, electric, and yeah, drafting.
That was fun.
Mechanical drawing.
Is that what you had?
Yes, there's just a couple more items to talk through.
I have one item for you.
Did you wanna go?
Sure. Hmm?
This is the extra copy, but that's for you to pass out.
Oh, I'm
I've got-
sorry.
I've got the extras.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and get the city.
Counter proposal. I think that's Article 11, subsection H, the leave.
What page, do you know what page that may be on your?
On my computer,
Mhm.
appears to be in the 50s, mid-50s.
56.
That's what
56.
I have on my computer.
Okay, we're gonna need to probably talk for a few minutes on
Okay.
this.
Okay?
There's just a few others that, well, just two more. One is, the FTOs. I believe that you wanted to go with our proposal, but you made it an economic issue. This needs to be discussed when we talk about the economic issues.
So that's a yes?
No, it's not. Let me make
Trying to
it.
get it on the record.
Let me make it very clear that it sounds like you would like to utilize our proposal, but make it economic by raising it from 200 to 350.
Yes.
Okay, so.
That's not how I interpret it, but
Would you interpret it?
I just interpret it as a simple counter. All you need to do is TA on it, we're good to go. Fixes everything.
That sounds so simple, right? But I'm sorry. So we're terming that an economic issue, okay? Which you'll hear further when we start talking about the economic items. The last item was regarding your Sunday afternoon event where you went through
Yes.
the contract. We agree, and we would like to officially go on record stating that when we enter into a new contract, we will make sure that it is changed throughout the contract as relates to the members changing.
Okay?
So it sounds like we are down to just this one item that we need to take a few minutes,
Okay?
okay? We don't have anything else.
No, we don't need it.
Okay, okay. Give us
Alright.
about 10 minutes. Okay, So, your proposal, the lead buyback, there are no other changes you wanna make to this before we deliberate further on it? We should look at it just the way it is, right?
Well,
And submit a counter based on what you have?
I thought you wanted to,
Yeah, you want a verbal or a written one?
Written will help. That way, when we deliberate with all of the right people, we have the exact language.
what did you need added to that?
We gotta put all the original language back in.
Well, it is right here, effective. Everything is the same, except I just, instead of effective August 1st, 1999, I said on or after October 1st of each year.
That's fine.
You're gonna stay with this August, and then you need language about selling it in October.
Well, I think that's built in inherently in the
Okay.
fiscal.
Well, then this could be your proposal right here, rather than this? Are
I
you
think
going
so.
back to this? Okay.
Or do we? Well, do we need to put something in there as far as on or after August 1st, the accrual begins or something to that effect for the, relating back to the usage, going back to what I talked to Margie about?
Why don't we just leave it, what we gave you, and then we'll clean it up.
And bring you a counter.
We'll bring you.
You wanna send it to us?
Yeah.
Well, you have this one.
Right.
I can send
If,
it.
if you guys have anything in a different,
We
send it
do,
to
but
us.
we don't have time to work it out.
Okay, but somewhere between now and the next time we meet, you'll send us something.
Yeah, we'll
right?
just email you something.
Okay,
Yeah.
that'll work. Because as I mentioned, to you, Scott, we recognize what your challenges are. We also know that we will have some challenges too, so if we can try to find a way to come to terms with this would be great.
Okay.
No guarantees, but I think we need to try. The only other item is, our next meeting is July the 16th and July 20th as well as the 23rd. We cannot meet at the Del Mar. So
For
are your
any of those?
For any of them.
Okay.
Your location, are you guys available here for us to?
Can you give us 1 minute? We'll go look.
Sure, sure.
Let me do that real quick.
Yeah,
Because that'll help me when I send it to council, the email.
Okay, I believe those dates are available, so we're good here.
So July 16th, they all at 9:30, if that's okay with everybody?
Yes.
And it seems like July 16th will begin the whole economic discussion.
The Economic Summit?
Absolutely. And hopefully it shouldn't take us all 3 sessions to get there.
I like that.
But at least it's
I like
available
it.
if we need to. And that's all we have.
All right.
Okay? Thank you guys very much.